Nuance is not a friend of today's Republican Party. They refuse to acknowledge context because it would upset their narrative. They only see things in black and white, even though the truth lies somewhere in the gray area. The truth lies somewhere in between. It's not just left or right. There's context involved, substance, background, situations, varying conditions. You have to evaluate everything to come to a logical explanation. But Republicans don't like to do that. They scream question everything, but refuse to acknowledge anything they don't like. I mean, truth and fact are just that. Factual truth. You can deny it all you want, but denial doesn't change a thing. The truth can be beautiful or ugly, but you don't have to glorify it or justify it or even condone it. It's there in absolute, no matter what you choose to do with it. And Republicans today only acknowledge what is on the surface while refusing to acknowledge anything else. It's all black and white. Like I said, gray area, be damned. You see, I am from the South. I am born in, raised in, lived in, and will die in Alabama. My family has been in roughly the same area since 1820. I had family who fought for the Confederacy. Even found records where a family member owned a slave, which I was really hoping that I would have zero ancestors who owned people, but I can't say I was surprised. I mean, I was disappointed, but only thing I can take solace in is knowing that somebody with my beliefs came from that, because you see, my beliefs put me in the woke category, which is what I'm told by Republicans, which is roughly 2/3 of Alabama. I'm a proud member of the left. I vote Democrat, but I'm not sure you could classify me as a Democrat because I'm more left-leaning than that. A Democrat is too close to a Republican for me. So is a liberal. I spent years calling myself a white trash liberal, but today I believe I'm even more left-leaning than a liberal. My views have changed, and I'm not set into one category. I'm open to ideas and believe the only way this country can move forward is by going left, and forward. I believe in freedom and human rights and equal rights for all people. I'm men, women, straight, gays, cisgender, transgender, religious, non-religious, black, white, Latino, indigenous, anybody else I didn't mention. That's how I get put into the woke category by Republicans who can't even define what woke is. But one other thing they do know with certainty, they do know that the Republicans freed the slaves. I mean, actually, everybody knows that. I mean, a fact is a fact and the truth is the truth, like I said. But when I said nuance is not a Republican's friend, this is where it is most obvious. All they see is Lincoln was a Republican and Lincoln freed the slaves. Therefore, Republicans today are the exact same. That has to be a fact to them. It's truth in their head. And that means the party switch never motherfucking happened. Republicans will argue and argue that a party switch never happened because nobody can point to a single date that it happened. Like the party switch is some historical date in the history books. I mean, hell, they're trying to change the history books as we speak anyway, so who knows? Some people on the left say it happened after FDR. Some people say it happened after the Civil Rights Act. I mean, I'm going to say something that some people on the left won't agree with. I don't believe in the party switch as most believe in, because I believe it's more of a party evolution. It's more of a slow burn, for the simple fact that there's no one date anybody can point to. But when pulled back and looked as a whole on a timeline, it's painfully obvious to everybody except for today's Republicans that Republicans and Democrats today are not the Republicans and Democrats of 50, 100, 150 years ago. It's a slow burn or evolution for the simple fact that it's still motherfucking happening today. I mean, look at how today's Republicans are pushing out others for not being right-wing enough. There are politicians today that are switching parties. How many people do you know that have said, I voted Democrat for years, until they started going all woke? These are the same motherfucking people who will look you in the eye and say party switch never happened. These are the same people who will look at undeniable facts and say, nah, bro. But they'll look at some other undeniable facts like Republicans freed the slaves and say, yeah, bro, because they like those undeniable facts. But the undeniable facts they don't like, they just brush those off as fake news, because anything they want to hear is facts over feelings, and anything they don't want to hear is fake news. They claim to be free thinkers, but I believe they only claim to be free thinkers because they see what's on the surface. They only see what's on the surface, like a motherfucking paywall. They'll read the free headline, but they won't dig deeper into the article to see the gray area and decipher how the truth really lays out. These are the same people who in one breath argue that the Civil War was not over slavery, and then in the next breath say, the Republicans fought to free the slaves and the Democrats fought to keep the slaves. Which one was it, home skillet? I mean, damn, pick a lane. How are you going to tell me how wrong I am, and then one of your arguments completely negates what you previously said? It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book where no matter what route they choose, they are either the hero or the genius. No matter the choice, they come out on top. To them, they cannot admit the fact that today's Republicans are not the Republicans of the 1960s or even the 1860s. They will boast Republicans voted for social programs and civil rights while Democrats voted against them, even though, while that is true, it was a Democrat president who championed those bills. They will brag about Republicans fighting for social programs and civil rights back in the day, while in the present day, they fight against the same exact motherfucking things. Then they would turn around and say the Democrats are the real racists, and the only real reason that Democrats support those programs is because it's a treat to keep black people on the Democrat plantation, which is a racist-ass statement in itself, I believe, because it implies that only black people use social programs, when in fact, just as many or more white people use social programs. In fact, not just white people who vote Republican. Because nuance is a word today's Republicans refuse to learn. Won't even admit the word exists. They only look at the surface. The only Democrat and Republican never even try to act conservative or liberal or progressive to the context of Democrat or Republican. Today's Republicans will say, we're Republicans, proud conservatives. That's why we are so proud of the progressive policies of past Republicans. That's their stance without a hint of motherfucking irony. They will look at an electoral map and how through generations the South has went from all blue to all red and say that don't prove a thing. They will say that doesn't prove any kind of party switch, because if that happened, that means everybody in the South would have went to the North and vice versa. Not the simple fact that the South has always been motherfucking conservative. And as each party's policies have shifted, the voting 100% reflects that. No, that's not true, they'll say. Today's Democrats are still the racist Democrats of the past. The Democrats fought to keep slaves in the Civil War, the Civil War that wasn't about slavery. The Democrats started the KKK. The Democrats implemented Jim Crow, put up Confederate statues, flew the Confederate flag, fought against civil rights, fought against progress. Yeah, because they were conservatives, you flea-infested rug. The Democrats started the KKK and racist hate groups like the White Citizen Council. Who do those modern-day versions of those hate groups support? Yeah, the Democrats put up Confederate statues. Why are Republicans fighting so hard to keep those racist Democrat statues up today? Because they're conservatives, just like their Democrat ancestors. How are you going to say you're conservative while bragging about progressive policies of the past and while fighting against progressive policies of today because you say you're a proud conservative? Today's Republicans' whole claim to fame is that Republicans freed the slaves, which no one motherfucking denies. And that is the single most determining factor that allows them to say that means today's Republicans are the exact same as the Republicans in the 1860s, which means the parties have never switched policies or ideologies, no matter what you present them with. I mean, you don't even have to go back then. You don't even have to go back to civil rights or racial issues. I mean, pre-Roe v. Wade, Republicans supported a woman's right to choose. That's an undeniable fact, easily verifiable, but if you point that out to them, facts are a virus to them. They don't believe in viruses, so therefore they don't believe in these facts. But today I want to point out something. I want to talk about something that proves that today's Republicans are yesterday's Democrats. Most people will talk about the Civil War period or Jim Crow or civil rights, but this actually comes from Reconstruction. I want to talk about two people, one Republican and one Democrat. I want to talk about Benjamin Wade and Alexander Stephens.